We're now going to get to ones that don't have many information on the field guide. Alright. The redacted industrial or black box industrial. The company is a whole in reality, left behind when its higher-ups ascended to a higher plane of existence. Doesn't have a name, a purpose, or any leadership. Does have resources, sort of, and ambition, sort of. Sometimes other things move in to fill its numerous cracks.
What the fuck?
Appears in multiple SCPs.
It's a perfect description, right?
I guess.
Should we look at one of those SCPs?
Yeah,
I would
well,
think so.
we're gonna need to. But anyways, I'm gonna answer this. Robin, why is there an SCP just for fascists? S-
That happens a lot.
There's a couple groups of interest that are that. Hell, there's some that are major that are technically fascist. I wouldn't like the Islamic one be fascist because of what they did.
The what?
Islamic artifacts, group of interest.
Mm,
Because I think they forcibly took over something. I can't remember if it was an organization or a country.
I guess that's the thing. Like, I think I described them as like a theocratic dictatorship,
Mm-hmm.
and that would definitely incorporate some bigoted and fascist elements.
Gotcha.
I just also know that like when we actually get down to the nitty gritty, uh, there it can be a little hard to differentiate between what's fascist and other forms of not so good dictatorial systems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one thing that annoys me because in all of history class, I had to learn about some other forms of fascism online because they would the only fascist country they talk about was Germany in World War II.
Yeah, that tracks.
So I did not know much about fascism.
They did that because they didn't want to talk about America's place there.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about fascism. Let's look at the first SCP number.
Enough
Maybe
about fascism, and then the SCP just coincidentally ends up being about fascism.
that
Oh
would be
my
funny.
god.
Yeah, anyways. Uh, SCP-2728 consists of a small area containing an office building in Barcelona, Spain. It can only be viewed from a specific viewpoint 25 kilometers outside of city limits, now designated Research Area 2728. Any and all attempts to reach the office building have failed, with subjects instructed to the point of 2728's existence instead viewing a street corner in a pedestrian neighborhood. While 2728 is visible, the area around it also appears slightly modified to accommodate for its existence. For example, the buildings around it appear smaller and spaced in such a way to allow the office building's position. 2728 appears to be inhabited, with close viewing showing business hours between 8 o'clock to 18 o'clock. 2728 is inactive on Sundays, only occasionally being visited by a subject assumed to be the custodian. Extensive observation of 2728 since 19 redacted has recorded over 14,000 individuals who have appeared to have interacted with 2728. Where these subjects go when they are not within 2728 is unknown. Most subjects within 2728, hereby designated -A, appear to have real-world counterparts. The -A subject looks exactly like the real-world subject and shares the same name. Names gathered from the observation of name tags, desks, plaques, among other things. All objects have been viewed via high-definition cameras, binoculars, and similar equipment. Similarity in personalities and other factors are hard to determine due to the nature of 2728. Most counterparts of -A live inside Barcelona or nearby, but some live as far away as South Africa. Wait. Wait. What?
South Africa is on an entirely different like, region? Since I'm very positive Spain is in Europe.
Yes,
So different
that is
continents.
correct. South Africa is the southernmost country in Africa.
So this is just an office building that doesn't let people inside except for specific people.
At least it doesn't sound like it cares about race. I have no idea why it picks people. Does it only want smart people? Does it want? Oh,
Alright, hold on. We got some addendum. Alright. Addendum 2728-2. On April redacted, 20 redacted, a bright flashing light shone through the windows of 2728 at 12 o'clock. After initial observation, it was shortly discovered to be Morse code. The following is a transcription of the Morse code, beginning shortly after the light started flashing. Begin log. And I don't know if you are there. I checked the hill and there was no fence and no research team. I am beginning to think you have left me, or that I have entered another place. Point is, I have no idea what's going on. You need to get me out of here. I don't get it. Everything here is normal. I can't find any anomalies or foundation. It's like you don't exist. You didn't tell me this could happen, you fucks. Now I have a fucking office job in this stupid building because of you. And yelling at people in Morse code is not as cathartic as you would expect. It's like there's nothing here. It's too normal. I'm scared. You didn't tell me. Fuck off.
oh no! It's a death trap. A death
Oh,
trap
'cause-
of boring work.
Yeah, because they sent Ancient Lafreniere in the previous... Didn't know. Alright. And Dash A individual and then called Ancient Lafreniere has been seen working in 2728 since the incident. It is assumed this Dash A individual is the same seen during the Lafreniere test and the one that sent the Morse code. So, wait. So, they just go to a dimension where SCPs and the Foundation doesn't exist if you become a worker for that organization.
That's kind of
It's-
terrifying.
But at least you won't die by anomalies.
Well, I don't think that's what it means. It's not exactly keeping anomalies from touching you, it's just some weird, boring alternate reality.
Yeah. Alright. Addendum 2728-3, on May redacted, 20 redacted, a bright flashing light shone through the windows of 2728 at 21 o'clock. Similar to the previous event, staff already at the viewpoint were able to catch the message in its entirety. The following is a transcription. Nobody here, they all work and do nothing. I feel this isn't even Barcelona, not even a copy. No one here knows. It's like they're insects. Sky is never blue, never black. There's nothing outside city limits.
That actually sounds horrifying. Are they going to, like, be stuck there forever and die working an office job?
Hmm.
Do they even have their own bed?
I have no
Who
idea.
needs the bed when you have 5-hour energy, baby?
I mean, I'm guessing this is referring to what this is the exact company. This company was in a whole reality and it basically left. I'm guessing this is Black Box
It's a
Industrial.
weird hole in reality that's hard to get to and hard to leave. It doesn't care who you are,
Alright.
I think.
Do we need to see another SCP before we do judgment? 'Cause I'm confused.
I'd say we look at something else.
Yeah, that was just weird, and I kind of feel bad for the agent that went in there.
Alright, 2856. Alright, threat level green. Which I think is a low threat level. Alright. Description: 2856 is a large warehouse located on the outskirts of Leipzig, Germany, formerly owned by... Huh?
Oh my god. I don't know if it's just the way that you said that, if it was your pronunciation or my ears being wonky. But there for a second, I thought you said warehouse was like, shall we say, the politically incorrect word for a brothel.
Oh my god, Hatchet!
No,
I
no.
What the fuck?
I thought you just casually go a large hole.
No,
What
she
the
did not.
hell?
But you did.
Right. Anyways, formerly owned by Black Box Industrial. Okay, so this place used to be owned by them. While generally non-anomalous in structure, the walls of the building contain a semi-random network of cables composed of copper wire, woven hair, solar alloy, and congealed blood. DNA testing has remained inconclusive as to the origins of these materials, and the method by which they were implanted in the walls is unclear. When exactly one living human subject is placed within 2056 for a length of a time exceeding 20 minutes, all entrances to the building will seal themselves via an unknown mechanism, and the subject will demanifest. All attempts to enter 2856 during this time have failed. After a period of time ranging from 30 seconds to 52 minutes, 2856 will reopen. In 78% of recorded tests, the subject will no longer be present and crossed out, and no further contact with the subject will be made. In the remaining 22% of the tests, a different human subject will be present within 2056. This new subject, designated -1, will invariably be a human being exhibiting a number of wounds or alterations. While the majority of -1 instances are dead upon manifestation, living instances are occasionally produced. Due to the physical and psychological damage present in recovering instances, information recovered through interviews has been limited at best. Jesus Christ! This is a terrifying safe class.
Yeah.
Do we have... Yeah, there's those documents there. Do we want to read those?
Kind of short. We can do that. Alright. Experiment EXP-2856-03. Subject D 3008892. Results: subject D manifested as normal. No -1 instance produced. Experiment 2856-07. Subject D 0410188. One instance produced, consisting of a large quantity of blood and miscellaneous viscera. No anomalous properties observed. Remains incinerated.
Viscera.
Viscera, got it.
Viscera.
It sounds like makeup.
I just kind of expect her to mispronounce things.
Well, I mean, yes. But it's also our job to poke fun.
Fair enough.
Very bloody makeup.
Yeah.
It's mascara made with viscera. Viscera.
I would not doubt if that actually exists.
I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised either, yeah.
If it exists, then it's made by a random person because no company would put blood in makeup.
Maybe. Anyways.
It would have sanitation issues. That's why they wouldn't.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe a older, like, turn of the century company.
Yeah.
Like, turn of the
But
17th
then wouldn't that
century
makeup be
company.
expired?
Most likely.
Well, yes.
Yeah. So, experiment 2056-08. Subjects 1 chimpanzee previously used for medical testing. Results: 2056 failed to self-seal. Experiment aborted after 2 hours. The chimpanzee was just in the SCP for 2 hours.
It's a Pansy. I'm just happy it didn't die there.
Experiment 2056-10, subject D-600604, subject was terminated via timed lethal injection midway through the demanifestation process. Results: subject demanifested as normal, no -1 instance produced. Experiment 2056-16, subject D398500, -1 instance produced, subject was unresponsive and showed signs of second and third degree burns across the majority of skin tissue. Subject expired 20 minutes after manifestation due to the replacement of 20% of their bodily fluids with a yellow-brown fluid physically identical to commercially available chicken soup.
Oh, that's a horrible way to die.
What the fuck?
Unlike all forms of testing attempted, they remain inconclusive as to the origin or composition of this substance. They're trying to figure out what chicken soup.
Well, they're saying it's chicken soup, but they're not sure if it's actually chicken soup. They don't know what it is.
Hey, Apollo.
Hi, Apollo.
Does that mean someone tasted it and that's how they found out?
I would imagine they didn't taste it. They just like took some samples. And it's like, oh, these samples look similar to Greg's lunch over there.
I just want to imagine like it was like, oh look, weird fluid. Gulp.
It looks like chicken broth. Yeah, let's not.
What? What's going on?
Or just
we're reading an SCP right now that's connected to a group of interest, and one D class that was experimented on and left in the SCP died because a large amount of their blood was and bodily fluids were replaced with chicken soup.
yeah.
Just the broth.
Anyways, experiment 2056-19, subject D-000202, -1 instance produced. Subject exactly resembled D-040188, removed during experiment 2056-07, save for a power cord running the length of the spine and the wired coils inserted in various orifices, both natural and artificial. Subject was missing both legs and vocalized loudly upon manifestation. Due to low possibility of useful employment following this, the subject was terminated 2 days later. Does that mean he had a power cord running up his ass? It just goes dead quiet after I say that.
Sorry, were you expecting us to say something
No.
to acknowledge that shit that you just said?
Busta! Not sure if we're hearing that.
I heard a bit of it.
What is that into you? He might be growling at bunnies because there's a lot of bunnies, let's just say fucking near my house.
You know what? If they want to reproduce, they're probably going to do it outside because they're wild animals. I'm not sure what you're expecting. They don't care about your dogs. They don't care about you. They just want to make more buns.
Bunnies doing bunny business, yeah. Alright. Experiment 2056-22, subject D-055426. Results 2856-1 instance produced. Subject appeared to be the corpse of Redacted. It was reported missing prior to the Foundation's acquisition of 2856 due to the presence of a large lead pipe inserted in the subject's skull. They are visually unrecognizable. Autopsy revealed the cause of death was either the overheating of the subject's blood plasma or the insertion of a thermostat into the subject's stomach. How this was accomplished without leaving physical scarring is currently unknown. Wait. So basically, this SCP, even though it's a safe class, if you go inside it, you are most likely going to die.
How is this safe class? Is it safe class because it's
easy to contain? Yeah, it's easy to contain. That's the main thing with the classes.
It's an instant death, but it's easy to contain.
Yeah, it's not getting out of the box.
Yeah.
Or in this case, the building.
Yeah. To compare it to another SCP, the reason why 6969 is Keter, despite it being dangerous, is because it started spreading to other rooms, meaning it couldn't easily be contained. If you're almost wondering, 6969 is the sex room.
Why don't we go to experiment 28?
Yeah, I just thought to say that to anyone not knowing much SCP stuff.
Could have chosen something other than 6960.
I did that because they're both room SCPs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Experiment 2856-28, subject D-239906. Results: Living-1 instance produced. Subject appeared to be in a state of shock, repeating the word tick at 1-minute intervals. Medical analysis showed extensive damage to the subject's rib cage and spine, with a brass key partially severing the spinal cord, resulting in lower body paralysis. Subject terminated at own request 3 weeks after containment. Experiment 2056-30, subject D-030172. Subject was fitted with a camera embedded in the skull. Results: no -1 instance produced. Camera was eventually retrieved along with the subject's corpse during Experiment 2056-96. A transcript of gathered footage is available in document 2056-E.
How many experiments do you think they did without taking notes on them?
Well, it says right here, no further testing 2056 is permitted at this time. That's when the invention.
After 96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 96.
Yeah.
Yeah. Begin on at 0. Cameras activated. Subject steps into 2056. 19 minutes pass without incident. At 19 minutes, 2056 self-seals. Real-time communication with the subject is lost, and they proceed to examine the interior of 2056, which shows no notable changes. At 29 minutes, all main lighting systems within 2056 deactivate. The subject repeatedly vocalizes regarding their distress and attempts unsuccessfully to leave. Visuals become increasingly indistinct, with higher levels of corruption and distortion being observed than would usually be expected. At 31 minutes, visuals are lost. Microphone continues recording a low hum, punctuated at semi-regular intervals by the sounds of heavy machinery. At 44 minutes, visuals re-establish. Subject appears to be standing in a dilapidated kitchen. A window to the left of the subject provides a view of barren farmland corresponding with no known location. A sound of muffled sawing can be heard from the adjacent room, accompanied by quiet screams. Subject attempts to exit the room, but finds the door securely locked. At 47 minutes, a mechanical entity resembling a shop mannequin, designated -2, enters the room. Note that the entity's head had been replaced by a redacted brand toaster with a crude face scratched onto the front surface. Upon observing the subject, -2 leaves the room. D-030172 attempts to follow but is unable. At 48 minutes, screams from the adjacent room cease, accompanied by the sound of grating metal. D-030172 is heard breathing heavily and endeavors without success to open the door. At 15 minutes, an entity resembling an arachnoid gas-powered water heater is seen passing the window, carrying what appears to be a human corpse. Large quantities of steam are emitted from both the entity and the body. At 53 minutes, -2 returns carrying 2 thin squares of serrated metal. The entity appears to notice the camera embedded in D-030172 and emits a low humming for approximately 30 seconds before reaching towards the subject's forehead. Visuals are lost. At 1 hour 5 minutes, according to the timestamp press. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Sure, why did it use that?
Use what?
It used the wrong alert sound. Oh, wait. That might be YouTube.
YouTube.
I just realized your new VTuber model doesn't have a full body, does it?
No. It wasn't meant to be.
Fair enough.
Anyways. At 1 hour 5 minutes, according to the timestamp present in the footage, 12 minutes have passed. The camera is positioned on the table facing -2, which emits a series of rapid clicks. D-030172 is seen on the work surface behind the entity, with all limbs removed and cauterized. Jesus! At 1 hour and 6 minutes, -2 is seen turning away from the camera. The entity proceeds to forcibly open the abdominal cavity of D-030172, inserting 2 squares of metal on either side of the lower spine. This opening is then resealed using what appear to be a combination of nails, screws, and human teeth. The subject is observed moaning quietly during this period.
Oh, he's alive!
Yep.
Yeah.
And footage analysis shows the subject's tongue and soft palate have been removed, as well as much as the esophagus. The expelled blood is collected in a number of buckets and pots of various size and shape. At 1 hour and 8 minutes, D-030172 is observed repeatedly bringing their head into contact with the work surface and attempting to speak. Alright, sorry about that, Danger Noodles. Internet went a fuck up.
I guess we continue conversation later.
Yeah. At 1 hour 11 minutes, 2056-2 moves away from the camera and forcibly presses their hand against D-030172's forehead, causing massive structural damage to the subject's skull. The abdominal cavity of the
Yeah, we missed a solid chunk of this that you were reading.
Did you hear 1 hour and 8 minutes?
No.
Okay.
No, we did not.
God damn it, internet. Alright, 1 hour and 8 minutes, D-030172 is observed repeatedly bringing her head into contact with the work surface and attempting to speak. This continues for approximately 3 minutes, with 2056-2 moving closer to the camera and gesturing empathetically. The sound of heavy machinery is heard from the room adjacent, accompanied by laughter. At 1 hour 11 minutes, 2056-2 moves away from the camera and forcefully presses their hand against D-030172's forehead, causing massive structural damage to the subject's skull. The abdominal cavity of the subject bursts open, and smoke is expelled from the mouth, nose, and ears. At no point is the subject observed to expire during this process.
Oh.
At 1 hour 12 minutes, the 2 pieces of metal, now glowing hot, are removed from the subject. They are placed to one side and coated in a mixture of butter and the subject's collected viscera. -2 turns back to the camera, brandishing a standard kitchen knife. No further movement other than a slight twitching is observed from the entity. At 1 hour, 27 minutes. Wait. Why is Twitch Mobile? Okay, I need to double check and make sure Twitch Mobile is working. That one,
Okay.
so far I was looking at, okay. Twitch Mobile was being stupid. It made me look like I was actually showing anything on stream. Alright, anyways.
Oh.
Alright, where the fuck was I? Alright, 1 hour and 12 minutes. 2 pieces of metal not glowing hot are removed from the subject. They are put. Oh, wait. Did I just read? Yeah, I just read that. Alright. 1 hour, 27 minutes. D-030172, coughing loudly, is seen moving from the work surface to the floor. At this point, they are presumed to have expired. At 2 hours, 14 minutes, -2 points repeatedly towards the camera and emits clicks and hums of various tunes and frequencies. Video footage is lost. Audio continues recording for further 7 minutes before the camera shuts down completely. End clock. So, I'm guessing Black Box Industrial just forces people who go to their anomalies to be sent to different dimensions. One where you're forced to be a worker for the rest of your life. The other, you fucking die.
You die
other
slow
thing-
and terribly through
The other thing-
torturous means thought unable before.
Seemingly turning them into a product of some kind.
Yeah. So either we become a worker or a product. Do we have enough information?
We need to call them evil.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that much is obvious. I just don't know where we would put them in terms of like the lawful, neutral, and chaotic.
I think
guess-
it's more like neutral evil because it has order, but it's not lawful.
Yeah.
I think I have generally like defaulted to putting corporations into neutral evil, so
Yeah.
that's appropriate.
That makes sense.